I need to be able to see more of my screen real estate. And honestly, most of the time when I was using my old setup, which was 21-inch monitors, I was finding myself, going really close to the TV or the monitor to actually try to see what it looks like, to try to see the information, especially when I wasn't wearing these glasses. And a lot of times, if you guys understand, if you're producers, you don't really want to be close to the screen. You kind of want to have good posture so you don't get too fatigued and things like that. So what I'm going to show you guys is my new setup right here, which is actually my OLED 55-inch TV, which I use as my primary monitor for my DAW. Now, I think a lot of people would think, like, why would you use an OLED for your screen? Well, and is there such things as like burnouts and other types of things like eye strain and things like that? Yeah, there could be situations like that could be problematic. But I think one of the bigger things to understand when you're looking at screen real estate is just that, what exactly am I trying to accomplish with it? And how long am I actually going to be looking at these screens? These OLED 4K TVs, especially the ones by LG, are fantastic. I bought one for my other room, which was like a 77-inch one, and I loved it. With this particular setup, what I was able to see is that as long as I'm not using it for like coloring and things like that, like doing type of Photoshop or editing and things like that, everything's cool. Now, one of the first things I did on my desktop when I set this up is I actually took everything off my desktop. So you can see it's just completely black. There's nothing here. And the reason why I did that was because I didn't want icons to potentially burn in. There is a possibility that you could burn in pixels and things like that, although the technology in this is much better than it used to be back in the day when people were at first using like plasma televisions as like monitors for computers and things like that. But let's go ahead and get into some of the benefits of this and why it would be a good consideration for you if you're trying to do this. So I'm actually running this on Windows 11, I guess. And this is my setup. I've actually moved the monitor over, the taskbar over to the right side. The reason for that was because it goes completely off the screen. For whatever reason, when I had the taskbar at the bottom, which I'll put it right here, and I have it remove itself, it doesn't go completely off the screen. You can kind of see that. Let's make it do that. You can see a little line. Now, you can barely see it with this, but over here, you kind of see that that weird, I'll move the mic out the way, that weird line. This is the search bar for Windows, right? And if I were to do this, you could see it. And I couldn't get that off the screen, so it was really annoying. But moving it over to the right, I don't have an issue with it anymore. Everything looks a lot cleaner, and it's just something you kind of get used to. The screen is so big, the GoPro is not really showing the true aspect of this screen, but the screen is so big. Let's see. So this is my old monitor setup right here, right? And as you can kind of see with this one, it's just much smaller. We'll move the laptop out the way. This is a Lenovo Legion 7. So this is like a pretty large laptop screen. It's a great screen. It's super saturated though. This is some cheaper Dell monitor that I had for like 5 years or something like that, right? And you see how much bigger the OLED is? So the OLED is essentially like, and this is running only going to be like 1080p. The OLED is 4K. So, if you think about it, it's boom, 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 is 4 1080ps. So I should have extreme productivity when it comes to being used to running on this screen size here, but actually using this screen right here. So what I'll do is I'll show you kind of like how I got this set up with the, actually, let me show you an application first. So this right here is the layout for my PreSonus setup, okay? I've actually played around with the sizing of this to where I kind of made it bigger. So this isn't running at 100%. 100% meaning like true 4K is very small. Even though this is a 55-inch monitor, it's very small. So let me see if I can get that up here. I think it's just display settings. I come down here. So I'm running at let's do the DAW. I'm running at 175. And if I were to make this, let's say 100, that's super small, man. That's a lot of real estate. I can totally work like this. This isn't a problem for me. I think where it becomes problematic is say for example, this would give me more eye strain over a longer period of time. What I like about it, and you guys won't be able to see it, is that this is actually pretty clear with glasses on. It's not a problem reading all the different parts and things like that. But Realistically, I don't need it to be this small. I think if I really wanted to push it, I'd probably feel more comfortable, maybe like 125, right? 125 is not too bad. When I was first setting this up, this is probably about, I'd say it's about 4 to 5 feet away from me. This monitor is. Let's go ahead and zoom this back out so you can kind of see in perspective what this actually looks like. This TV cost me, I think when I bought it, it was about $1,000, and it was worth it because not only can I use it as a computer monitor, but I can also use it as a TV, which is really dope. I think that's another thing about this too, is that it gives you flexibility to do other things. So the WebOS, which is the LG operating system, is pretty decent. I've used it to watch like YouTube videos on it because it can do a lot of fixing of frames and things like that, makes things a lot smoother. So it kind of adds a new entertainment element to your video watching, and I like that a lot about the TV when I'm using it like this. So with this particular setup, it's not bad. I will say though, sometimes when your virtual instruments come in, they look kind of funky. So let's go ahead and show you that. We'll pull presence in here, right? Presence is fine. The scale is okay, right? But let's pull something like older, like a non-built-in instrument, something like battery. Battery is a great example. You'll see with battery, it's kind of small. It's kind of small. So if I make this bigger, it's kind of the same. It doesn't really change too much. But some of these virtual instruments, I can't remember which one. Some of these actually like struggled with the resolution size, and it was kind of annoying. So I just decided to go about where I'm at right now. I'm gonna minimize this and come back out of here. So what I want to show you now is I actually want to show you the OS. So here we go. Let me see if I can move this over here. This is the WebOS. Matter of fact, let's do the phone camera. I think the phone camera will come up better than this. But if you guys have any questions, definitely please ask me. Also, too, while I'm doing this setup, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and I will be for sure willing to help you guys out with any questions you may have regarding this. So let's see. Okay, good. This is working right now. So we can rock it like this. So this is with the phone camera. As you can kind of see, I'm going to go through the different settings. So boom, boom, boom. We've got your normal settings and things like that with this. This is your settings menu. Let's go ahead and just pull up the regular TV menu. So for example, if I were to press home, I've got my TV menu down here. Wow, this is really not switching back out. But you can kind of see it right here. I've got my TV menu and things like that down here. This looks pretty decent. It's got Showtime or whatever. A bunch of other apps. All your typical TV apps and things like that will be on this particular TV. So it all works pretty nice. Like I said, I pretty much watch YouTube videos on this. I don't really do too much more than YouTube. And I think it has got a few other channels that I've never used before, which is kind of common because they kind of give you channel overload. Let's do this real quick though. I want to show you. Okay, how can I show you the benefits of this? This also does help with like video editing. So if I were to do some DaVinci Resolve, which I do not have on this computer at this time, I've kind of moved it over to this Lenovo computer right here. But if I were to do something like that, you could kind of see that those setups are very nice when you're using this much real estate. I've also got the ability to plug in, say, this computer right here to that computer, to this monitor, so I can expand whatever's on here to this one. And this one actually has a built-in, this is a gaming laptop, and I did a quick review on it, but it's got a very strong graphical card into it, and it's actually pretty nice that I can actually run it off of here onto this 4K and have really great resolution and a really strong performance with it as well. And I could also run it into there too if I have like an additional Thunderbolt 3. This is one of those Windows computers with Thunderbolt 3, so this is pretty cool. I think overall, the biggest con to this is just that you need to have space in order to put this on your setup. And what do I mean by space? Well, let's talk about it. So with this setup right here, let me see. With this setup right here, switches out, boom. You can kind of see that I've got this pushed pretty far back. And the reason for that is sitting on the very back. This is an IKEA desk. It's sitting on the very far edges of the IKEA desk. Let me walk around and show you guys what it looks like on the back, just so you can kind of see. So it's sitting back there, and you may ask the question, like, why haven't you mounted this thing on anything yet? Well, the reason why I haven't mounted this particular setup on the wall is because I wasn't really sure where I wanted to put it. So for me, it gives me flexibility, and this isn't too bad, especially when I'm using my keyboard down here. I've got a really nice stand finally for my keyboard, which doesn't, my music keyboard that doesn't move. And I just basically use like, a wireless, keyboard if I want to type something up or do anything. I'm not doing anything crazy on this. I'm not like coding or something like that. So I don't need to have a optimum position for typing on a keyboard. But what this does allow me is some desk space, which is really cool. And it also allows me the ability to keep my Stream Deck close, but I can still see everything in front of me. So from a streaming standpoint, this is what I see all the time. I've got my Sony cam right here. I've got a few other cameras and stuff set up. Obviously, this is the GoPro. And I can basically take my DAW, what you're seeing on my DAW, and I can show it to you right here via obviously the output from the cam link that goes into this. I'm running 2 cam links to go into this computer, and it streams it and records and does a bunch of different things like that. So that works for me. That's how I do my live stream setup. So I'm looking over here so I can see what's going on YouTube, but then like my main focus is right here. And I also have an older leftover computer that I just use for monitoring the chats and things like that. So that's how I'm setting this up with my DAW. I think this is a dope setup. If I were gaming, I would absolutely love to use this. Let's see if we can like throw some games up really quick. But if you guys do have any more questions, like I said, please go ahead and ask them. I'll go ahead and run like a game demo. Let's do like Grand Theft Auto or something, GTA 4K, and see. Here we go. See if we can get something that you guys can see pulled up. Something that's a pretty popular game.
Let's do this.
We don't want the volume there. We just want you guys to see it. Okay, so as you can kind of see, it's pretty huge, right? Let's actually get to some action though. This is more talking, so let's just do more action. And this is what it looks like. It's pretty sharp. It's pretty sharp. It's a beautiful, beautiful TV screen. It's an absolutely gorgeous screen. So this is the setup here. And if I were to set this up and actually have this on the Sony cam, you guys can see that it looks pretty damn sharp. Very happy with it. Very happy with the setup. Definitely was a major purchase. It wasn't cheap, but I think that is something that you can't really go wrong with once you get it, because a 4K television is especially something this sharp. The pixels on this are so sharp. They're so good. You're not really going to be regretting this purchase. So I do recommend it if you can afford it to get this. I definitely can use my TV without my glasses, which is a very nice thing, because sometimes my glasses gives me headaches and things like that. So I really do appreciate that. Another aspect of this, let's see if we can find another game or something. Looks like this dude likes to play a lot of Grand Theft Auto or whatever. They all look pretty good. So in closing, I just want you guys to know that if you're considering getting something that will give you more real estate when it comes to screen real estate, going with an OLED TV is a good option. Another thing that I want to point out before I close this out is if I were to sit this on my DAW and just have my DAW running nonstop and not move it, what actually happens is it will shift. This TV will shift around the images a little bit, just so that it doesn't like burn it in. Now, I don't know how much benefit it does, but I don't have any pixel burning. Everything on my TV is super black, so when I cut this off, it's like off. But yeah, I noticed that it does shift it a little bit. I can tell because sometimes things get cut off on the left side or whatever, and that's totally cool. Another thing too that it does is it's got the auto dimmer feature in it, where it will actually start to dim it. So if I were to keep this running and not switch back and forth to any app, it will say, oh, okay, this screen's been up and I'm going to dim it down. And it's super bright, but like it doesn't burn my eyes normally in normal mode, but when it dims it down, especially in this type of a setting here, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's pretty cool. It's pretty clean. So I like this setup a lot as far as using this for my DAWs and things like that, especially if I'm doing some type of editing or something, which I can use this computer to edit. This one does have DaVinci, and I can just pipe it in over here, and I can actually see it and play back 4K and not have any issues with it, when I'm doing the 4K content. Let me see. Is there anything else? I will point this out though. So I've got a MacBook Pro, a 2021 MacBook Pro, and when I was setting this up, because of the 16:9 default screen resolution that this is set up, the ratio for the screen, I had to do some alterations in the MacBook output for the HDMI to make it fit this correctly, so that when it was putting the OS on there, it wasn't messed up. And that was one of the things that I had to kind of research and look into. But once I found it and I set it up, it took me I'd say it probably took me about half a day of tinkering around with it to really get it down packed. Once I got it down packed, I don't have to worry about it, because the MacBook knows when it's plugged into this what it needs to be set to. So it automatically adjusts and can hit that configuration, and I'm good to go. So I don't have to do too much extra stuff to it. So I like that aspect about it. And yeah, so in closing, I just feel like this is something that is a very good buy. And if you definitely have visual impairment like me to a degree, I'm not blind, but it's definitely something that you should definitely consider. So with that being said, I am Prodigy Music Man. Guys, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. On Wednesdays at 9 o'clock, I also do a live beat making session. So please come on and hang out with me there, and I will talk with you guys later. Peace.